get it. Prior to COVID-19, the church was not talking about issues of mental health. I'm so glad that is changing, but my God in heaven, okay? What is or what should be the relationship between faith and feelings?
Woo!
Come on.
And I'm gonna build in some extra time just so we can cover this controversy. So we got a little more time.
Come on.
Here's the thing. The reality from where I stand, especially from a professional perspective, is that they should be one. There shouldn't be this either you believe God or you don't. Like that's what happens when we're experiencing, right, these different assaults on us mentally.
Yes.
The church tells you, oh, well, if you're trying to go see a professional, then you're not believing God for your healing. Let me just say this. Is that the same response you give to somebody that needs the transplant or that needs the heart surgery? Amen. Are you saying you don't believe God because you're going to the hospital?
Amen.
But we don't see the same value.
Amen.
In the mind. And I dare say it's just as valuable, especially as is the emotional center. Right. And so I think that, and this might be jumping ahead, but I think that ministry leaders need to dial in more deeply and really start addressing this even from a language perspective, because, you know, one of the fine lines that we have to walk within the church is, well, speak those things, right? Or don't speak it.
Yes.
And so people,
and that's hard.
It is hard because people have a hard time acknowledging what they actually feel without wanting to position themselves as seeming without faith.
Yes.
Right. And
yes.
so, you know, I do believe you have to be able to name it if you're going to address it. Now, I don't think that you should walk around life in perpetuity saying, I'm depressed. I don't believe that either. I believe that you can take more of an affirmative approach and say, you know what, I'm getting better every day. That doesn't negate that you're feeling a certain way today, but you want to still speak life.
Right.
Without ignoring that there's something that needs to be addressed. And so I think there shouldn't be a distinction.
I love that. Because for me, that's where the problem was. I had all of this philosophy built up that was fighting against my acknowledgement of the feelings and the thoughts that were in my head. So then you just trying to ignore it, believing that God will take it away. Well, you're not addressing the problem. And you would not do that with a physical ailment.
No.
And that's why I was like, we gotta look at this different. And like I said, look, I'm glad there are ministers, there are people who are changing the conversation, because we ain't really got no choice. You know,
sure.
This pandemic is tearing people up.
Yep.
But we have abdicated our responsibility.
Absolutely.
And we need to go back and get folks that have been
true.
hurt by that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, so let me ask you this. You are a mental health professional. So do you think it's harder to address, to capture people that have been indoctrinated with that pray about it philosophy? Is it more difficult to get them?
Yes.
Why not?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. And yes. Let me just say that in case you didn't hear me. Yes.
Why?
Part of the reason why is because, you know, depending upon how people were raised in the culture religiously, people hold to it like gold. Like they've been taught not to question. And if that's their position, there's a concrete thinking that activates. And so trying to rip a brick out of that hand is like, look, it's a real thing. And so I also, again, when you look at this historically, depending upon how you grew up in the church, you know, a lot of people learned from an oral tradition, not from learning on their own. And so, or studying for themselves. And so if that is the case, you don't feel confident in taking those paths to open yourself up more to relationship. Dare I say that a lot of people are still stuck in religion. Yep. That's another show, but it's the same principle, right?
Yeah.
It's the same principle. And I just think there's just a lot of, cultural conditioning that has happened around this. And I find it much more difficult because people even marginalize and undervalue their own emotions because that's how they survive. And so they understand survival mode, right? And that's familiar, and trying to shift that to thriving mode.
It is. And it's hard scary work. I want to be real clear, folks. It's hard work.
It is work.
Yes. My goodness. It is. So, all right, finally, I want to personally invite you to the Controversy Project Facebook group, A Safe Place. It is a free and exclusive community where trauma survivors and trauma supporters have gathered together to share testimonies, to share resources, and to share support and love for each other, as all of us are endeavoring to learn to live TS strong. This is just another one of the many multimedia platforms that we have chosen to use in order to fulfill this very, very important mission. And I want to invite you to be a part of it, and obviously welcome you to it in advance. Listen, in closing, until next time, I want to remind each and every one of you how important it is for you to confront your pain, how important it is for you to live your purpose, and how important it is for you to invest in your project. Till next time, peace.